It is a sorry state of affairs when you read a headline like this. Christmas at the box office hinges on Aquaman 2. Movie theatre owners are worried. I mean, they should be worried anyway, because it's been a pretty abysmal year for movies in general. There's not been a lot at all. Nothing majorly noteworthy. I've seen some pretty decent films this year, but by and large, it's been a wash with crap. And if your box office hinges on Aquaman 2, water dude bro, you've got serious problems. And this is part of the problem of studios and theatres, how they sort of work together. Theatres are reliant on studios. Studios believe they know best over audiences, and the audiences are checking out from their movies. So the theatres are screwed. They're just this weird middleman that's like, shit. Which is hilarious, because that's what's led to things like Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour. Or Eras? Eras Tour. As well as that Beyonce one as well. And we're probably going to see more and more of that, in fairness, because, these big artists can just strike a deal with distribution theatres and just go, yeah, there you go, cheers, bye. And then studios are hooked out of the equation. So, anyway, Water Dude Bro 2 looks like it's going to flop. It looks like it's going to majorly flop. I think it's estimated to have a $40 million opening, $40 to $50 million opening, which is really bad for a movie that had over a $200 million budget. That's embarrassing, especially for a movie that is a sequel to a $1 billion film, which, hilariously, if this flops, that's the second film this year that is a sequel to a $1 billion movie that flops. So you've got Aquaman 2, if it flops, that'll be one of them. And then The Marvels. The Marvels was a sequel to Captain Marvel, which, $1 billion and just completely flopped. So anyway, I saw this headline and I wanted to dive into it, because again, it's a sorry state of affairs. And it's indicative of how bad the industry is at the moment, which is an issue, because of course that's part of what I do here, is, I'm part of this industry. So every year around Christmas, Phoenix Theatres puts all of its chips on one major tentpole, gambling on a movie so big, so broadly appealing, it'll keep auditoriums stocked into the new year. In the recent past, the Midwest-based chain has gone all in on 2022's Avatar: The Way of Water. They were right to do that. 2021's Spider-Man: No Way Home. They were right to do that. 2019's Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. They weren't so right to do that. But this holiday season is different. For the first time in more than a decade, excluding the pandemic-stricken 2020, there's no surefire blockbuster with the potential to gross $1 billion globally to cap off the year. There really isn't. And so here's what the owner, Corey Jacobson, the owner of Phoenix Theatres, says. You can't look at the release schedule now and the end of the year, between now and the end of the year, and find one movie that stands out like Avatar as the big film. Yeah, everyone knows it. Everyone knows that this industry reliant on these comic book movies is dead. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the follow-up to 2018's mega hit Aquaman, should be that big bet. Yet the sequel lands in theatres on December 22nd as a massive question mark. Will the Jason Momoa-led comic book adventure recapture the spark of the original, or will it extend the string of 3 DC flops? The Flash, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, and Blue Beetle. I think hilariously, if this movie bombs, Black Adam would have been the biggest success for DC in the last few years, which I think is absolute comedy gold, quite frankly. And I'm sure you would agree. So the overwhelming sense of superhero fatigue has even plagued Disney's once bulletproof MCU, as evidenced by the misfires of the Marvels and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. And so there's more. In terms of an analyst, Jeff Bock, he says the holiday season is on the shoulders of Aquaman, and that's not a good shoulder to put anything on. Can it cut through the negative DC noise? No. And you'll often find this, ladies and gents, and kudos to you for watching this video, because the individuals that watch these types of videos are ahead of the curve. We've been saying this for a long time, and yet these individuals that run these types of mainstream media websites are really reluctant to say these things. They are parroting what we've been saying now for the last couple of years. They're finally catching up. We've been saying things are on the decline. We've been saying that there's, something setting in, whether it be superhero fatigue or bad movie fatigue. There's a general apathy towards these types of products now, and people realise it. They want to be a bit more selective about what they're spending their money on. And now finally they're catching up. So kudos to you guys, because you're ahead of the curve, because you watch and have been watching content like this. But again, you know, here's the main issue. Movie theatre owners who were walloped by the Hollywood strikes as they were still recovering from the pandemic have no choice but to accentuate the positive. They've got to try and just like hype up these shit films. With one big film, you must stock a lot of showtimes to meet demands. If it doesn't work out, you end up with a lot of empty showtimes. With a more diverse slate of films, we can spread our bets, but there's literally nothing coming out. However, there is Wonka, and that I think will actually be a big hit. I genuinely believe so. I think it's got, you know, it's fairly innocuous, it's harmless. I think that will probably be a fairly large hit, and as well as Iron Claw, which is the A24 sports drama, which is amazing to think A24 doing stuff like that. They sort of came up with, kind of horror-ish, you know. Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White are in there. It looks great. And then Migration as well. You know, I don't think Aquaman is the big tentpole that they're hoping it to be. It's going to bomb. So Homan is encouraged by the number of kid-friendly movies. That certainly helps our popcorn sales. And these family films are under 2 hours. It creates turnover and puts more customers in the building. That's the reason. One of the reasons why Mario did so well. Very short film, so many showings per day, so many people get in and out the doors. But they say this, but unless there's a runaway success in the mix, these films won't offset the absence of a billion-dollar tentpole. Yes and no, but I do think Wonka has the potential. It's probably not going to be the most spectacular Christmas season, predicts Jim Orr, Universal President of Domestic Theatrical Distribution. It may give other movies room to overperform. It would be a disappointment coda for the movie theatre business, especially in a year that fielded Barbenheimer and the unexpected gift of Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. And then we get these kind of points anyway. So Lionsgate Motion Picture Group Vice Chair said the following. With the strikes, it would have been hard to do much to change this. In the short run, there will be some awkward and odd bumps. Disagree. But they start talking about 4-quadrant titles and things like this as well, which these movies, you know, like an Aquaman movie should be, but I don't think it will be. But they say this. So Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the first film opened to an unspectacular $67 million, and then went on to do 1.15 billion globally. But this new movie is set to open to $30 to $40 million, if I remember rightly. That's not good. That's something to be very concerned about. Aquaman 2 misses the mark. It'll join Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Dead Reckoning Part 2, and a slew of sequels, spin-offs and reboots that appear to be guaranteed winners, only to wildly miss, the box office. But I think that's what's so funny about this, right? That is what is so funny about this. They genuinely thought they were guaranteed winners. They genuinely thought they were guaranteed successes. Indiana Jones, it should have been, not in the film that it was. You can't watch that film and genuinely believe that was, had the potential to be a success. Holy shit, you're lying if you can do that. Absolutely. So anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but everyone knows it. Everyone's discussing it now. The jig's up for Aquaman, probably for superhero movies in general. Just drop them for a while. Just chill out. Just calm your tartars. So I'd love to hear your thoughts though. Cheers guys. Take care. Bye bye now.